When it comes to the climate crisis, we are in a Kairos moment. What we do now, what we fail to do now about the climate crisis will impact the future like nothing else we do or fail to do in our lives. Katharine Hayhoe likes to use the analogy to explain what it is we can do. She likes to use the analogy of an above-ground pool. Imagine you've got an above-ground pool in your backyard. It's full of water. It's starting to slosh over the tops. The walls are starting to bulge out a bit. It might burst, you're not sure. There are three things you can do, three things you need to do. The first is to turn off the hose. The second is to start safely draining the pool, and the third is to make sure you know how to swim and how your neighbors know how to swim, and maybe to shore up the walls of that pool. When it comes to the climate crisis, the first thing we need to do is to stop adding greenhouse gases to the atmosphere. We need to turn off the water. Then we need to focus on protecting and growing natural carbon sinks like forests and soils. That's draining the pool. And on adaptations like learning to swim and shoring up the walls, like building seawalls. 9 days ago, Susie Claxton and I went to Oakland to the Big Oil Resistance Tour. We learned about plans for the Big Oil Resistant Week of Actions across the state, planned for the week of June 29 to July 4. The theme is Independence from Fossil Fuels. The 4th of July coming, I think that's a little clever. Why oil resistance? Because shutting off the oil is like turning off the hose that's dumping water into the pool. And California is a big oil producer and refiner. So as Californians, we need to apply resistance to oil production that will prove especially successful in turning off the hose. We can do something that folk in other parts of the world can't. Here are some of the things you can do leading up to the Big Oil Resistance Week of Action. There is a petition you can sign. If you're on Zoom, you can actually take your smartphone and scan this QR code right now and get to that petition. If you're not on Zoom, there are these little cards that are pictured here out on the tables in the fellowship hall, and you can scan that code and pick up a card to give to a friend to sign the petition. You'll also get on the mailing list to be notified about further actions. We've got a couple signs in the fellowship hall. You can have somebody take a photo of you if you're here for coffee hour today with your smartphone that you can then post on social media and that you can tag. More details about that in the fellowship hall. And finally, there is an organizing call that is taking place on May 25th this week. Again, if you're on Zoom, you can scan this QR code right now to get to that information about that call and to sign up for it. If you want to wait till you get into the social hall, if you're here in the sanctuary, there's a little sheet with this QR code there for you to scan. Contact Susie or me if you've got any questions or ideas about what could happen here in Fremont and the Tri-Cities during this week of action. And thank you for listening to this month's Kairos Moment.